Welcome to the Men of Iron podcast, where we equip and encourage men to grow to be godly leaders in their families, churches, and communities. Thanks for listening.
All right, welcome to the Men of Iron podcast, live from the land of milk and honey. My name is Steve Glick. I'm here with my brother from another, Garrett Barbush. What's up, G?
How you doing, Stevie? I'm doing well, man.
Oh, man, this is exciting. We got an exciting podcast today. Let's get into it, man. I'd love to welcome to the podcast NFL Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, 9-time Pro Bowler, Philadelphia Eagle legend, born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, but most importantly, a husband, father, and believer who is passionate about inspiring men to honor God and equip them to become the best versions of themselves they can be. So give this man some respect right now. Brian Dawkins, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen, for having me on.
Well, we're happy to have you, Brian, and we certainly look forward to the next several minutes together, and looking forward to hearing about what's new on your plate and what you're looking to tackle here over the next couple of the days here with the conference. So
Yeah, we're excited to have you, Brian. I'm a lifelong Eagles fan. I'm not going to tell you that Garrett beside me here, he's a Steelers fan, so we won't get into that.
Well, at least the team is still in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. So.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll get into Take 5 here with you, Doc, if you don't mind. So question number 1 from Take 5 is, who are some men mentors who have helped you become the man you are today?
The number one is my father. Having my father in my life is an absolute blessing. Get a chance to see firsthand how he deals with life, tough situations, good situations, and how much of a giver he was. Excuse me, still is, because he's yet still living. And how he treated my mom. So I saw all those things right in the household, so that's a blessing in itself. And then, throughout my life, the Lord has put different people in my path, and that's why the term "blessed for the best," blessed by the best, is so potent in my life, because I recognize the best that He's put around me. So some of those best are like I said in my speech, Emmett Thomas, huge in my life. Coach Humphrey, high school, huge in my life. Even going back to Pop Warner, Coach Sammy Crawford, huge in my life. So I've had some people in my life that have blessed me at different times, because sometimes the Lord will put people in your life just for a season or two, and then I still keep in touch with them, but they're not obviously walking with me during this time or doing the things that I'm doing now.
good stuff.
That's
good
awesome.
stuff.
Awesome.
Well, we're going to ask you a couple more questions, Stevie. Give him number 2.
Yeah, number 2 is, so you spent 16 seasons in the NFL, Doc. Who was your favorite teammate over those years?
Favorite teammate would be my big brother, Troy Vincent.
Oh, man, I had a feeling.
Yeah, that's just and Troy is just he was a mentor to me. He took me up under his wings when I was a rookie. I think that was his 4th year in the league. So he had been in the league a couple of years, and had a good understanding of how to deal with the pressures, to deal with family, to deal with all the things that a lot of fans would never understand what goes into being a professional football player. He had not only been through it, he was having a lot of success doing it. And so he took me up under his wings. I watched him. I watched the way he handled the media. I watched the way he handled himself, and a lot of my cornerback play, because I played a lot of corner during that time as well. So I modeled a lot of that from him as well. So, but the greatest thing that me and him did was become accountability partners. And to this day, that's my big brother. I call him my big brother, and we hold one another accountable when it comes to the walk.
Yeah.
The most important walk we have, and that's for Christ.
Love that.
Amen.
Love that. Yeah, and just to mention Troy Vincent, I'm sure we'll talk about this, but he is a part of the Better Man Conference on Thursday.
Yes.
Absolutely. What a blessing. What
Awesome.
a blessing.
That's exciting. So question number 3 for Take 5, Brian, is who or what inspires you?
You know what? I don't like the what that inspires me is I don't want to leave this earth without maximizing everything that God has put inside of this body.
Amen.
And that's what motivates. That's what really motivates me. So I really want to have, if not maximize them, at least touch them or use them to bless other people, the gifts that He's put in this vessel. And that's what motivates me to this right now. Before, obviously, there were some other things that probably motivate me. Football was huge in my heart and huge in my life, and I still love the game. But my heart right now is to maximize what God has given me to bless others with. And so that's why this conference is so important for me.
That's incredible. So we're going to take you back here for question 4 is, what is one of your favorite childhood memories?
One of my favorite childhood memories, ones just jumped in my head real quick, was, the year my dad, because during Christmas time, that Christmas, it was a real tough one. And I remember him, he didn't, usually we would get a bike every Christmas. This one, couldn't get one. So what he did is he took the bikes and he basically refurbished them, sanded them down, painted them up, put new reflectors on them and all those things. So it looked almost like a new bike.
Wow.
And so that's one that popped in my head real quick.
That's
one
cool.
of my favorite memories.
Love that. All right, final question for you, Doc, is what do you want people, you kind of touched on this a little bit with the question earlier, what do you want people to remember about you 100 years from now?
Oh, man. The heart that I have. Someone of a giver. That's a giver, excuse me. I live this life with a certain passion. And it's something that I'm blessed to have inside of me to give. And so I want to continue to do that. And just something that I hope people remember me for.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Well, good stuff. Hey, thanks for taking the time to answer those questions. We want to get into, the Better Man Conference, and we want you to be able to kind of tell everybody all about that and why they should come out and where they need to come to watch that and take part in it. But before we even do that, Doc, I'd like to kind of get a little bit of background. I think this is really important for even our viewers and listeners, to get a better understanding of is, how did you get to this point of saying, hey, I want to do this Better Man Conference. This is something I want to pour my resources, my time, my talent, my treasure. This is what I want to pour into. How did it get to this point? Who were the people that, maybe helped in the process? And just a quick kind of maybe your faith journey on how you got to where you are today and why the Better Man Conference. Let's just start there.
This is a heart movement for me. It's a changing of my thoughts and my heart. And this is what the Lord put on my heart. And this is something that, I had visions of probably like a year ago and kind of talking about it with different individuals about what that would look like for me to do some type of a men's conference and really begin to pray about the direction that God wanted me to go. I've been praying anyway, but here recently, the last, especially since the Super Bowl, and being blessed to be in the Hall of Fame, was okay, how can I use the platform to bring others to the understanding of what they have inside of them is greater than what they see right now. Because from where I stood on that stage, I look out and I see so many individuals that are cheering for my football and what I did on the football field. But there's a lot of things that I had to overcome, that I had to do, that I was blessed to be able to go through, that increased me in so many ways that had I not done those things, I would not have been up on that stage. Had I not been blessed with those individuals in my life to help me, I would not have been on that stage. And so there's people that sometimes just need encouragement, sometimes need a word. Sometimes need that push, that nudge to get them to that next step, to at least take the next step. Because sometimes the next step is the step that is going to help you get to that destination a lot quicker. And so my heart has been really, really engaged in learning, to reading, studying more, and equipping myself to be able to stand in front of as many as possible, to be able to share the knowledge, not just the knowledge that I've learned, but by just reading and meditating, but also the knowledge that I've gained, the wisdom that I've gained from my life yet lived.
That's good.
So those are the things that I want to be utilized for, to bless men, to live life different, to live life with purpose. A lot of men are just living life, and whatever happens, happens.
I like your tagline, for this Better Man Conference: all out or all in. and it kind of reminds me of that idea of, you're either you're either hot or you're cold. Be one or the other, but don't be lukewarm. So can you kind of explain how you got to the all out, all in? What your definition of that is?
Well, this is something that came about. This hit me in a different form back in 2000 and about 5 or 6 after the Super Bowl run, and we struggled on the field that year, and the Holy Spirit put that on my heart, and I put that on a shirt. It was all out, all in, all day. That's what the term was.
I love it. So
you're giving. So what you're giving, all you have, you're all in, and that's all day long, and that's what that's what the thought for that. Now the thought for this time around is an all out, like you're all out of excuses. Like if you come to this conference, you're saying basically, I'm all out of the excuses. I tried things my way, they have not worked. I'm all in on this. I'm all in to start doing some of the things that are going to be suggested for them to do in order for them to experience the better versions of themselves. So that's where that's what this tag is used in this content.
I love it. So tell the listeners, tell our viewers, what can they expect? This is coming up October 4th, Thursday night, 7 p.m. It's at the Investors Bank Performing Arts Center, and help me pronounce that. Is it Sewell, New Jersey, I believe?
Sewell, yes, Sewell.
And it looks like that's at a local high school, if I recall. Is that correct?
Yes, the venue. If you go on the site, you'll be able to see all the things that you need to see in order to know exactly where it is. I think that the venue may be changing at the last second here.
Okay.
But once you go on, you'll see all the details of what the latest information is.
Great, and we're going to have all that information for our listeners and viewers here at the very end. We'll give them the website that they can go to, but you can also go to briandawkins.com, and I think they can lead you there as well. But it's not just yourself; it's Troy Vincent, Sean Barber, Jason Avant. So, I mean, these are, obviously guys that you have journeyed with that have meant a lot to you and have played significant roles in your life. But tell us a little bit about maybe what people can expect, what the men can expect that are coming there that night.
One of the biggest things about this conference and what I was led to try to bring is the feeling and the atmosphere that we had when we were in Bible study. Because Pastor Teddy, whose church we're having, he's the team chaplain.
Okay.
And so he's been there that whole time that I was there as well. And so he was the leader, the orchestrator, of the Bible study. And so we call that the cave. So when you come in the cave, we can talk. We can discuss some things. We can really get down to some conversations on how to really change, not just be a religious person, not just go to church, but no, let's talk about some real stuff and have some real conversations so we can really begin to change our lives and live them for Christ and have an understanding of why we really live this life. And so that's the atmosphere that I'm praying that the men will feel and sense when they come into this conference, that it's going to be different. That we want to invite you and have you have a feeling of what we felt every Thursday, and going in and being able to drop your guard, let loose of expectations of the outside world, and let's talk about some pain. Let's talk about some issues so that we can find out what the Word says about those things, what the Bible says can help you through those things.
Well, and one of the things I noticed about this conference, Brian, is, a lot of these men's conferences, and it's why we do what we do, but, it's one of those things where our experience has been these men's conferences, they're good. We need the information. We need to be charged up. We need to be encouraged. But what happens so many times is we go get charged up and then we leave and there's no follow-up. And that's not necessarily the case with your stuff. It looks like guys are going to be able to take something away with them to build some new disciplines and habits into their life. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I wanted to make sure that happens. A lot of times we go to a conference and revival and have some good word, But if you don't have things then to be able to exercise, then once you hit a tremendous storm in your life, you kind of forget those things. So with this comes with a Better Man challenge every month. So 20 days, you're going to be asked to do specific things. And then on that 21st day, we'll have a conversation about that. Hopefully, via podcast or via some type of vehicle, to be able to discuss with different individuals of how did that change? How did that affect you? What were the difficult? How was it difficult? And so that'll be something that'll continuously go on, and we'll continue to add to them. So once you add something to it, don't forget the first thing you did. Keep that as a discipline. Let's add something else to it. So now you begin to build a foundation of how you're going to live your life going forward in order for you to be consistent in your walk.
That's good. That's a good word right there. Well, tell us. I mean, we're here at Men of Iron. We're really focused and super passionate about mentoring, in particular men. That's what we focus on, and we don't necessarily just do that for any guy. What we do is provide the training and resources and curriculum, for a mentor to grab onto a protege and say, hey, I'd like to mentor you, or vice versa, a protege to seek out a mentor and say, hey, here's the stuff that we need to do to start this relationship. But talk about maybe your own passion for mentorship and how you believe that, maybe the Better Man Conference is the catalyst to mentorships kind of maybe birthing up, not just in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, but throughout the nation.
Yeah, and yes, it is not a Philadelphia thing. It's not a New Jersey thing. It's not a U.S. thing.
Amen.
Like when you are, last I checked, there's men all over the world. Mm-hmm. And all of us are in need of guidance. All of us are in need of help. And, to be able to provide the information that certain young men need. Men need it. But when you have young men, especially those who are growing up without father figures, without those individuals around, they can't see what I saw every day, and my father being in the house with me, directing me, guiding me. They're not seeing that. And so to be able to now provide this type of information for them to begin to pray, so that the Lord will send them those individuals that they can then follow behind to be directed. Because one of the things that I've, in my professional career that I've been blessed to have is people to critique me. People to critique me, not criticize me, but critique. You have people in your life that look at what you do daily on tape and say, listen, you have to do that better. You can't do that. That is a mistake. You can't be a repeat offender on that, or this is the consequences. So these are not the exact same terminology, but it's the same premise when it comes to mentor. Like, you're going to point out those things that someone does well, obviously. But then when you point that out in love, you point those things out so that they can begin to understand that I can do this better. Yeah. Sometimes you don't even know you can do something better. You're just so used to doing it because you've seen other people do it that you continue to just do it. But this way, you have somebody in your life that's looking at you from a loving perspective and saying, listen, this is what you need to do differently in order to have a different result next time. Mm-hmm. And that's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Extremely powerful.
Yeah, you talked about Troy being that accountability partner for you, and vice versa, for years. And I mean, it's vital. It's vital for us as men to have somebody like that in your corner. God never designed for us to do it on our own. And I think men we're so quick to kind of close ourselves off from having that kind of intimate relationship with another man, where we're holding each other accountable, and like you said, we're challenging each other to be better men. So. I just think it's phenomenal what you're doing.
Yeah, and let me kind of echo a few things there that you said, because I think if we as men, if we could tell ourselves or remind ourselves, maybe, well, what would my wife think if she watched the video from my day? right? For over the last 24 hours, what would she say? Would she be proud of her husband? What would my kids say if they were able to review my film over the last 24 hours, right? I mean,
That's good.
that is such a good word for you to say that, your entire career, it was easy for you to be critiqued, right? Because you watch film, you study film, you find the flaws, you find the wins, you find the weaknesses, the strengths, whatever it may be. But somebody's there and they're able to watch what you've just done. And I think if a lot of men could, this is for myself too. I'm not just preaching here, but preaching to myself and saying, boy, imagine if we could just shift our mindset and say, okay, I've got to make decisions day in and day out, hour in and hour out, by the minute, telling myself that I would need to act as if somebody's filming my day. And somebody's going to go back and critique that. That is a good word. So thanks for that, Brian.
Oh, no problem. And that is something. And those critiques don't always feel good. All right. It's not about those things feeling good. They're supposed to ruffle your feathers a little bit in order for you to change something that you need to do better in order to have better results next time. So that's the premise of it. And if you take that a step further for those who are a little, probably, I won't say a little more mature, I won't say that. Let me say, for those individuals that I guess probably have a greater understanding on some things, like we always say on film that the eye in the sky never lies, right? And that's the camera. The camera's always on and it's always looking exactly what you're doing. Well, I mean, there is an eye in the sky, right? And even if other people can't see what we do, there's another eye in the sky, and that's the Heavenly Father. He sees everything that we do, everything.
That's good stuff. Well, thanks so much for taking the time. I just have one more question for you, Brian, and we're going to give our listeners and viewers a rundown of where they can get tickets and where they can check out, the Better Man Conference. But we know that you spent the last couple of years in the front office with the Eagles. Now you're doing things like this, and you were just inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, tell people, it's pretty easy for us that aren't professional athletes maybe to kind of put you up on a pedestal and say, oh man, what a life. But give us a daily routine for Brian Dawkins. What do you enjoy your time now doing? Do you play golf? Do you have hobbies, interests? What are some things you like to do that are outside of the football thing?
And those are some of the things you'd have to tune in to hear, because I'm gonna go into that.
All right.
I'm gonna go into that in detail about the myths there are surrounding me. To be honest with you,
good stuff.
To give you a true feeling of what it takes, what it's going to take for you to come out of where you are to get where you are going to go. If you do these things, if you take these challenges, and the misconceptions there are because someone may seem to have success, or they have success as defined by public eye. That's because somebody having seemingly success in the way that you define it from a perspective of he's always on TV or he's always in front of the camera. That doesn't mean that that everything behind the scenes are going that same way. You see too many people on social media and posting the best of what they want to present, but their home lives are in a mess, and then they wind up, doing something to themselves because of it. So, that's one of the things that I would get into on Thursday.
Awesome.
To, like I said, dispel some of these myths so that people can understand that, all of us are growing and all of us need to grow. None of us need to be staying stagnant in any place for too long. And that we all have different pains. We all go through different situations. But there's a purpose for all of it. And that's one of the things that I'll talk about.
Awesome.
Love it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time. Stevie, if you could, actually, before we give this information on the event, I do want to wrap up our time with Brian with this, and that is, Doc, I want you to find out from BG, from Brandon Graham. We were fortunate enough to spend a day with him. I don't know, this is before the Super Bowl. But he came up here to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We played a round of golf with him. And after that round of golf, I was very, very confident that BG just needed to stay on the football field and not on the golf course. And so you make sure you ask him about his experience playing golf with Men of Iron. I'm sure he'll have some stories. So.
Oh, absolutely. He's an honest cat too, so he's not gonna tell me anything that wasn't truthful.
He's a good dude. Well, BDawk, we appreciate your time, man. Like I said, I'm a lifelong Eagles fan, so you've been my favorite athlete, man. Just the fearlessness you had on the field, Weapon X, man, it was fun to watch, and just the way you live for Christ and just unashamed to live for Christ, man. On the field, off the field, it's awesome, man. We
Romans
love it.
1:16, brother.
Yes,
Unashamed.
Well, October 4th, 7 p.m., the location, you can check out where that may change, but make sure you get your tickets at betterman.gotothehub.com, and you can also get there by going to briandawkins.com. And again, this event's featuring Brian Dawkins, Troy Vincent, Sean Barber, and others. And so, man, we just want you guys to check this out if you're listening or you're watching this. This is an incredible event that we are going to push hard for all of our men to get to. And
we have some church partners in Medford, New Jersey, so we definitely have some New Jersey listeners as well. So definitely go to betterman.com, or I'm sorry, betterman.gotothehub.com or briandawkins.com. And you can also stream it as well, right, BDawk?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We try. It's not about being there in person. With technology, it's a good and a bad thing, and in this case, it's a good thing.
Amen.
Because we can stream.
Amen. Well, hey, Brian, thanks you so much for your time. We hope our paths will cross again here in the future, but in the meantime, we wish you nothing but the best for the event, and we'll certainly be circling your event in prayer on Thursday night at 7 o'clock.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Be blessed.
All right, thank you.
See you. Bye.
All right.
All right, thanks again to Brian Dawkins.
Yeah,
man, that was good. That was good stuff, man. You want to finish us off with what's new this month for Men of Iron?
Yeah, so what's new this month, man? We've got Brian Ziegler, our full-time state director in Ohio. He started yesterday, full-time on Monday.
Crazy.
And those of you that obviously are listening or watching this, you probably follow us on social media and saw the announcement. But just so honored and blessed to have Brian, and I just feel like he's been specifically anointed to do this work and out in Ohio, and I'm just really excited about it. So that's that. And then we've got Extra Give coming up on November 16th. It's a 24-hour day of giving. We are going to be here at Supply. I believe I just got word from Justin Watkins that Lancaster Burger is going to be here with the food truck, and it's going to be an awesome night. So
we love Lancaster Burger.
Yeah, I'm just super excited about that. And other than that, we've got our One Iron Classic coming up at Stream Song Resort in Florida, December 9th to 12th. And so if you're a golfer and you'd like to get away for a few days with your spouse and also support Men of Iron at the same time, there are still a few spots remaining. And so you are more than welcome to contact us about that. So, Stevie, sign us off, man.
Yeah, and also talking about BZ, we will have him on the next episode of our podcast. So stay tuned for episode 13 featuring Brian Ziegler.
That's right. He's going to be on. That's right.
So for more info about Men of Iron, go to menofiron.org. Check out our podcast on iTunes. Search Men of Iron Podcast, or you can go to menofiron.org/MOI podcast to listen and subscribe. And after you do that, leave a 5-star review.
Yes, leave a review, not just a star, and a review. So...
we'll take a 4-star.
Well, I like 5.
Right, yeah, we got to keep our perfect 5 going. Thank you today to our sponsor, Hondrew Auto in Manheim, PA. Go to hondrewauto.com, Lancaster's trusted source for new and used vehicles. Should we finish it with the fight song, maybe?
Oh, boy, that's going to be tough for me to do, but I will do it for your sake, Steve, because Steve is totally just – you guys didn't – well, you couldn't see it because this was more of an audio one, but – Stevie was sitting here shaking as we were talking to BDawk.
I know. We won't sing. We'll let Steger.
He has Philly socks on. He's got his Philly cup.
Eagles.
He has a tattoo of BDawk on his chest. I mean, just, oh, man.
All right, well, sign us off, G. I'll just say go Birds.
Go Birds. We can do the fight.
No,
go ahead.
Just sign us off.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
Wow. Steve's going to... He's resenting me already. Blessings and honor and glory and power forever.
See you guys.